Hello, all you beautiful people. This is Intentional Healing, and I am Nicole Bridger. So, as you can see, I'm wearing a lot more clothes than normal. We are back in Canada for Christmas. We just landed late last night, and as I mentioned last week, I think it would be nice to talk about some of the stuff that comes up for us around the holiday season. And last week we talked a little bit about shopping and gift buying and that frenzy. And I thought this week it would be nice to talk about seeing family and relationships and how that can be stressful and bring up stuff for each of us. So before we begin, taking a deep breath. And for these next few moments, just letting yourself be here. Whatever is calling your attention out there in your life will still be there when we're done. Simply giving yourself the gift of presence. So what comes up when I say seeing family over the holidays? Perhaps right away you think of one or two or a few people that are stressful for you for a myriad of reasons. And perhaps thinking about the expectations that you have over the holidays and the worries that you have about those dynamics, about seeing those people. Sometimes we see them only once a year. And it can be a really stressful time. So there's two things that I want to talk about. One is, what can you do for yourself during this tricky time of seeing everybody? And then the second part is shifting into a place of forgiveness. So the first part is about listening to yourself. What can you do for yourself during this sort of tricky time? It requires a little bit of self-love, because why we get feeling uneasy is when we're feeling not safe in the presence of others, fearful of what might be said or how people might be. So when you're feeling unsafe, and it doesn't need to be physically unsafe, just emotionally unsafe, you want to help yourself to feel more safe. I mean, it sounds kind of simple, but can be tricky because we feel often that we need to overextend ourselves, overgive, show up to things because we should, because we have to. If you're not in a good place, not in a good place around a specific situation, I would just take a deep breath, slow down that sort of sympathetic nervous system that's kicked into fear or anger, and ask yourself, what do I need right now? From a place of loving yourself, not from a place of fear and protecting yourself, what would be loving to yourself right now? And sometimes we're able to say, hey, you know what would be easier actually this year is if we do Christmas morning, just us in the house, and then we go and meet everybody later in the afternoon, for example. But things like that, listening, what would be easier, more gentle for yourself and for your family, and really listening. I think we feel more unsafe when we don't listen to our own needs and we push ourselves more than we need to. So once you hear what would feel good for you in the minute, in the moment, as far as making plans, and you're really listening to yourself, I would also really encourage you over the holidays to make sure that daily you're doing the things that help you feel better. For myself, I know that um, walking in nature, meditating, doing yoga, working out, those kinds of self care things for me often get thrown out when I'm traveling and visiting family and so busy seeing people that I lose my sort of self care routine. And then there's a lot of drinking and eating heavy foods and not really being loving to my body. Um, and so, really important to say, hey, you know what? I need to make sure that I'm feeling good about myself and doing the things that support me to feel happier and better in my own skin. So, really making sure that, again, because that's an act of self love to take care of yourself, making sure that every day you're doing the stuff that makes you um, feel better in your own skin and those small acts of self love, whether it's exercising or meditating, whatever is kind of your daily routine that helps you. Then I would also, like to talk about forgiveness a little bit. This is not a full talk on forgiveness, but it's an important element at Christmas time. I think it's important to take a moment to have a little bit of compassion towards your family members, whoever it is that's bringing up stuff for you. Step one is to have some compassion, to see where they're coming from, to meet them where they're at, and perhaps even try to name things that you appreciate about them. Try to step into a place of appreciation rather than judgment, anger, fear. And then the curiosity piece. I'm always telling you guys, have compassion and curiosity for yourself and others. The curiosity piece is, wow, that person really stresses me out. I wonder what that's about. Wow, it really bothers me when they do that. I wonder what that's about. And take it inwards instead of outwards, looking and judging and feeling afraid and needing to protect yourself. If you feel ultimately safe in yourself, then you can take these moments as an opportunity to look a little bit deeper in, to see windows that lead to spots that still need to be healed in you. You could say, gosh, when my cousin does that, it bothers me so much. I wonder what that's about. And tenderly looking inside and say, gosh, you know what? It's because I've, never trusted them. I don't like the way they manipulate, and ultimately I don't feel safe. What I need in this moment is to feel more safe. And no external situation is going to help you feel more safe. That's up to you. Everything actually is up to you. So what that's calling you to is to step inside and go, okay, I need to feel more safe in myself. And what happens as we begin to heal some of those relationships with compassion and curiosity, and you start to see the things in you that need to be healed, it's not about other people changing. This is all your work inside of you. As you love yourself more and heal those things, the relationships and issues around you begin to bother you less. The more you are able to love yourself, feel safe in your own body, the less that you feel threatened or need to protect or judge the relationships around you. And you may even get to a point where you forgive yourself for the way you are. You ultimately forgive others for the way they are. And things that they used to do that would trigger you no longer trigger you eventually. Relationships, the point of relationships is for you to be triggered so that you use those as windows, as opportunities to journey inward and heal things inside yourself that are still lingering from the past. And if you start to look at relationships like that, when you're sitting at the holiday Christmas dinner table, whatever it is that you're celebrating and getting together for, you can look around and be grateful for all of the relationships, even if they've been tricky ones, even if they've been hard ones. You can look around and with a lot of gratitude say, wow, I've learned so much from that relationship. Wow, I'm currently really learning so much from that relationship. And as you shift into a place of gratitude and feeling more safe in your own body, then you can begin to heal relationships and have a more harmonious relationship with those around you. Think of Christmas instead of an annoying time where you're so triggered and have to see family. Could it be an opportunity to practice some of the things you've been learning? It's easy for us to keep a certain sense of peace while we're by ourselves or surrounded by people that are easy for us to have peace with. But using those times with the trickier relationships as opportunities to practice. Practice what you've been learning. Practice staying in that place of self-love no matter who's around you. So I know for myself this year, of course, I have my own tricky relationships in my family. My father's son, also we will be seeing while we're here. My son's father. I'm a little jet lagged still. And friends and cousins and things. So I have my own tricky relationships. And while I'm in Bali, it's much easier for me to have peace. And now coming back, of course, there's a lot of old relationships that are more trying, that now I'm here, I'm looking at them as an opportunity for me to heal more inside myself and ultimately heal more that relationship between us. Healing a relationship between you and someone does not mean forgiving them. It does not mean letting down all your boundaries. It's the opposite. When you come from a true place of self-love, you really honor your own needs and don't give too much of yourself. You don't crumble your boundaries that you need to have. And when I say boundaries, I don't mean from a place of fear. I mean from a place of self-love. We can do a talk on boundaries another day. But just something to keep in mind. And for me, this year, I'd really like to practice all of these things so that coming back is not stressful, or maybe less stressful. And that's something that I can share with others, with my son, with my family, and let it be a more harmonious time within my own body, regardless of what happens. Because of course things are going to happen, things are going to be said, people will drink and do silly things. And my job is to hold my own self-love and harmony and allow it to be a time of growth for me. And regardless, be grateful and without expectation. There's no perfect situation. Whatever happens is perfect because it's what was meant to be. Letting go and stepping into flow and allowing to be what is meant to be this season. So I hope that's helpful for some of you who might be feeling a bit anxious about the holiday season. And I think next week it would be nice also to talk about some of you might be feeling maybe a little bit sad about people you don't have this Christmas. It's one thing to feel anxious about people you do see. Many of us, it's a time where we really feel the void of people and perhaps feel a little bit more lonely than usual. So join me next week for that. I hope that's been helpful for you guys, and please reach out. NicoleBridger.com, and my Instagram is Nicole Bridger, and let me know any thoughts or questions that you have. And I will see you next week. Have a blessed day.